Alright, let's take a look at this problem, 3 5/8 divided by 10. So the first thing we need to do is change this 3 5/8 into an improper fraction. So we're going to take 3 times 8 and plus 5, so it's 24, plus 5 is 29. So that gives us 29 over 8. So now, because we're dividing and we have a fraction involved, we want to multiply by the reciprocal. So we're going to change this divide sign into a multiply. And then we're going to take the reciprocal of 10. Now 10 isn't written as a fraction right now. We need to flip it over. We need to flip over a fraction. So we need to think of it as a fraction, which is 10 over 1. Anytime you have a whole number, you can put it over 1, and that is an equivalent fraction to your whole number. So to flip that over, we would have 1 over 10. So now we have 29 over 8 times 1 over 10. And when we're multiplying fractions, we're going to multiply straight across. So 29 times 1 is 29, and 8 times 10 is 80. And this fraction cannot be reduced, and so that is our answer. Now I received a question, and the person had said that when they took 3 5/8 and divided by 10, they came up with the same answer of 3 5/8. And without even doing the problem, we know this isn't quite right, because dividing by 1 will give you the same answer. 3 5/8 divided by 1, anything divided by 1 will give you the same answer. If you kind of use, think of a picture of something that's 3 5/8, like you've got 3 5/8 pizzas or something. I don't know, 1, 2, 3, and then you've got 5/8 of a pizza, so you'd have to cut it into 8 pieces and shade 5 of them. And you split that amongst 10 people, and you want to know how much each person gets. They're not going to get 3 5/8. You don't have enough, right? You're splitting it amongst 10 people. Not everybody can get the whole amount you started with. But if you have 3 5/8 and you're splitting it amongst one person, dividing it into one piece, you're going to have 3 5/8. And you could go through the math of this. 29 over 8, you wouldn't want to, but I'll just show you. Times, and you flip over 1 is 1 over 1, you still end up with 29 over 8, which turns back to 3 5/8. You don't have to do that. Anytime you're dividing by 1, you know it's going to be just the number that you started with, or multiplying by 1. Anytime you multiply or divide by 1, the answer just stays the same. But dividing by 10 is going to change the answer. If you have a decimal number, dividing by 10 is really easy. If you had the decimal for 3 5/8, I'm kind of getting off track a little bit here, but that's okay. If you had the decimal for 3 5/8, which is 3.625, and to get that, you'd have to actually do 5 divided by 8, and that gives you the 0.625. You can maybe see that in a different video. And you divided that by 10. All you do is move the decimal over one place this way when you divide by 10 with a decimal. So the answer would be 0.3625, which must be equivalent then to the fraction 29 over 80. And if you want to see if it is, take your calculator and punch in 29 divided by 80 equals, and it should say that decimal. But I think your main question was right up here. How do I do 3 5/8 divided by 10? And hopefully what's in this red circle will answer that question for you, and the rest of this is just extra.